any stories or anything stick out about the times Pittsburgh won it and the cup was in Pittsburgh?
Well, there was no keeper in the cup in Pittsburgh, and I wasn't even working for the Hockey Hall of Fame back then. But I mean, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but this famous story of it in the bottom of Mary Lemieux's pool. And when I've met Phil Bourque before, and he told me the whole story, and I got the play-by-play from him exactly what happened. And he was telling me, he goes, I was climbing up, and Mary's got this waterfall that goes into his pool, and I was trying to get a picture, and I don't know, that's me, Mike, I have a lot of respect for this thing, and I said, hey, whatever, it's your story, and he threw it in, and it sank to the bottom of the pool, and Scotty Bowman told me that the bowl snapped off when they got it off, and then they had to duct tape it on, and they were told not to lift it during the parade because they thought it was going to hold together. And I don't remember what player it was, but one of the players did grab it. I think it was a player that didn't speak a lot of English, one of the Europeans, and he grabbed it, and it held together, and all the players were like, no. So it held together, and as I say, guys like Phil have created my job, so thank you. 94 Rangers were the last team to have it unescorted. Again, it didn't travel around the world. It didn't go to every guy's hometown, and not every guy got it. So I think what the National Hockey League has done in the Hall of Fame is really created a really cool tradition. And if you ask any player, they'll agree. I think to have a day with it sitting in their home, and I think it's incredible. I mean, how would you not want to have a day with this thing?
I think you hit it right with the People's Trophy. I mean, people identify with it, they see it, and it is unique. You don't see the World Series trophy out. You don't see the Lombardi Trophy going bar to bar or city to city. It is unique.
You're absolutely right, Jeff. And I'll tell you a quick story. We had this is quite a few years ago, but in Safeco Field, and the Red Sox Mariners were playing, and the ball players were coming over looking at it. And both sides, both of them, well, that's so cool. They get their name on it. Another guy goes, they get to drink out of it. Another guy goes, they get to take it home. And one ball player goes, we play for a bunch of stinking flags. So Brian Trottier, I guess it was raining and the tarp was out, and Brian slid across the tarp of the Stanley Cup, and the smile and the joy and the excitement that he had on his face. And I think if that was in '92, that's Brian's 6th cup, and he went on to be a coach with Colorado, won 7. And and you ask Brian, he's a super guy. It never gets old. It never gets old. I mean, he's got seven times his name's on this thing, and again, the excitement that he had that day was probably just incredible. I've only seen it on TV. There wasn't no keeper in the cup then, and if I was the keeper, I probably would have been a little nervous seeing him skid across, because I've seen the footage. But absolutely, that's awesome. I mean, that's what it's all about. And Brian Trottier, he's a legend. He's a Hall of Famer. He's a great guy, and Brian's actually got another little piece of history that a lot of people aren't aware of. But when the Stanley Cup filled up in '92 with Pittsburgh, they actually filled the Stanley Cup for the first time when it was this shape, which became in 1948. The NHL and Hall of Fame were deciding what should they do. Like, do we make a new one? Do we make it bigger? And Brian Trottier said, you know what? It's the perfect size, weight, and height to carry around on the ice. And that's when they decided to retire bands. And that's why they decided to take the top band off, move everything up, put a new ring on the bottom. So Brian, as much of an impact he had on the ice, he's had an impact off the ice too, and especially with this thing, with the guy who's got 7 Stanley Cups. And maybe somebody will be doing that across, 3 Rivers is not there anymore, is it?
Yeah, and we carried the Penguin games then, and our afternoon host was the MC of that event, so he remembers it very well. It was a great night.
I've seen the footage 100 times, and it is a very cool shot of Brian skidding across that thing. And like I said, today, if I've known Brian for a number of years, and I would let him do it in a heartbeat. If that was my first year on the job, I would have been nervous. But these guys, and again, that's what you want. You want these guys to have fun, safe, and respectful, and you're going to give them chances. It reminds me of the Niedermeyers. Again, on the top of the mountain, we're passing the cup. The helicopter couldn't land on the mountain, and we're passing the Stanley Cup out to them through the moving helicopter that's hovering over this mountain, and it's like there's no room for error. But the photo that they're going to get on top of this mountain with the glacier and everything like that is going to be one of the coolest photos ever. And you want to try and make that happen. Yes, there's a little bit of risk involved, but obviously everything was okay. And as I'm passing it to Rob Niedermeyer, I said, don't drop this or we're all moving to New Zealand. he starts chuckling because I figured we're safe in New Zealand away from all hockey fans. So, again, that's the thing. You want these guys to have new adventures and have a fun time with it. And whatever team wins, it's going to be the best time of their life.